The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Laugh like the sun always shines, spinning well, fun times, and there's always something to remember, always something to consider.
Hi, this is Katreese Barnes and the show Something to Consider on Armed Radio. And if you want to join us on Facebook, you can on facebook.com, Katreese Barnes. And this is going to be a show where we feature music, musicians, astronomers, archaeologists, medical doctors, alternative health practitioners, witch doctors. We're going to focus on lifestyles, food, esoterics, and a wide range of subjects to consider. Which leads me to my guest tonight. I'm going to try to zoom you in on the Zoom. Let's see. Here we go.
Which one of those categories do I fit into, Katreese?
I left out crazy. I left out crazy this week. Everybody, this is Jeffrey Daugherty. If you don't know him, let me pull up your website really quickly so people can see your website. Now, you are a Bible college graduate, 20-year minister, over 100,000 hours of Bible study, 12 books, 700 videos, and a regular on Coast to Coast. And you're my friend.
Absolutely, and I'm most proud of the last thing you said.
Let me so people can see you. You're proud of being my friend?
Exactly. It's an honor and a privilege to be with you, Katreese. Honestly, thank you for having me.
Now, you know your website. I think you called yourself the Christian whistleblower, but now you're just saying it's the gospel truth. You changed it recently.
Well, I didn't really change it. I just kind of put the Christian whistleblower in the background because a lot of people did find it somewhat offensive. And, instead of leading with the, roundhouse right, maybe I'll just start off with a quick left jab. Try to get people to at least listen to me maybe for 2 or 3 minutes before they decide they hate me. And my whole thing, Katreese, is I did spend 20 years as a minister. I am a Bible college graduate. And I saw that there what I interpreted as cracks in the foundation of big-time religion. And what I really feel I'm here to do is to give people all of the information about what goes on in big-time religion so they can really discover the foundation behind their faith. And that way they can still make a full decision of what they want to believe. But I believe they have the right to know all of the facts and all the information. I'm a dealer. I try to get the cards on the table. We play everything face up, and you decide where you want to go from there.
Okay. Well, we have Tawatha Aji watching. Hey, Tawatha. And Lonnie Stowe, or Eric Conley, a whole bunch of people tuned in. And I want to explain how I actually met you. I belong to a website called Energetic Synthesis, and somebody posted one of your videos, and so I went to your YouTube channel, and then I went to your website, and I downloaded your book bundle. You have I think I got all 12 books now.
Well, now we're up to 14, so you have to go back, Katreese.
oh, shoot. Well, the 12 books I read, the one that really impacted me the most was this one. I haven't read all 12, but I definitely read this one. Let me show people. Let me get to it. And
I remember the first time we spoke on email.
Wait. Let me show them. Let me show people. The book I read was Confessions of an Exorcist.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Yes. Now let me go back to us. Now, so we can fill in the blanks of how we knew each other or know each other, is I actually emailed you after reading it because I was having some kind of weird paranormal experiences for 5 years. I was waking up to like weird bruises, burns, and cuts and stuff, and I still don't know what they were, but in your book you said people who live in apartments have a difficult time keeping their places clear because they don't own them, or, you know, the multiple dwellings of these kind of living situations. And your advice was for me to take my lease, right?
Yep.
And, you know, claim my divine sovereign free space. And I did that with some sage. And it's been 2 months and I have not had a bruise, burn, or cut.
Perfect. That's exactly right. You took ownership of your space and you exerted your sovereignty, and there you go. It's really pretty easy and pretty simple once we, figure out exactly, what works in the spiritual realm and in the energetic realm. And that also, speaks to the fact that you obviously are a lady that's, in charge of your own space, and you're no pussycat.
So you basically turned me into an exorcist.
Absolutely. And, one of my catchphrases is, be your own guru, guide your own spirit, master your own ascension. And there's no reason for you to be running to, pope, priest, pastor, guru, spirit guide. We really should come to the place where we are self-supportive, where we're building our own foundation, and where we can, carry our own wood and haul our own water. We should be independent. We should be sovereign. It's more than just a catchphrase. It really is a goal for us. And I think that the more independent we are, it's the more indicative of our spiritual progress and ascension, if you will.
Well, I'm hoping that I'm not jinxing myself by saying whatever was there is gone.
No, you're not. Not at all. In fact, probably just the opposite. You're putting out that intention that it is gone, and thoughts are things, and words mean things, and words have power. So I think the more you say that, the more that you're actually putting out as an energetic reality. So I wouldn't worry about it at all, Katreese.
Well, what was interesting is I tried other techniques for years and nothing worked, though. And I thought of myself as having great intentions all those times. I mean, I bought Orgonite, I did a whole bunch of stuff, and nothing seemed to work until I just claimed my space.
Well, let me tell you real quick how I learned that. I was dating a lovely woman, and I had occasion to be at her house overnight. Of course, we were just studying the Bible all night long. That's all that was going on. And I woke up about 3 a.m. She was asleep, and I noticed a shadow man standing off in a doorway, and he was kind of trying to intimidate me to get me to cast him out because he knew I could do it. But I just sensed, no, don't do it. And the reason I didn't is because it wasn't my house, it was her house. And if you make a spirit leave someplace, it has the right to come back with, some say 7, some say 70 times 7, but at least many other spirits worse than itself. And I really believe that it was trying to get me to cast it out so it could come back, and come to find out she wanted to keep it. And to be frank with you, Katreese, she dumped me for the shadow man. So if I had cast him out, I would have left her 7 times worse. So that's where I really began to learn and understand about the importance of sovereignty and ownership over areas.
So they can tell, like, we're rolling up to Katreese's house. You can't go in there. You can't go in there. They
know who is in charge. Absolutely. It's like an alpha dog thing. And you think about it, that's throughout the animal kingdom, really. There's always an alpha, there's always a leader, and there are, the spiritual kingdom, even though it's unseen, it still does have rules and laws that govern it. And, everybody has to obey the law, and even in the spiritual realm.
Okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to keep owning my house.
Absolutely. And I mean, think about that. You tried all kinds of other things, but when you actually yourself got that lease and framed it in your mind, I do own this space, this is my space, and you walked around and you declared it, they have no choice but to back off.
I still wonder what it was, because like you saw a shadow man. I still don't know what it was.
Well, the best thing you know about it, Katreese, is it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah, well, I find that pretty fascinating because, in a lot of I hate to say the word new age or conscious circles, so many people are kind of anti-materialistic, like not owning anything and selling their cars and selling their this and selling their that. And this kind of speaks to like having a space that's sacred and working towards it and having something to just to even protect yourself. Or, I mean,
and that's a great statement. I think probably the rock bottom of that, Katreese, the foundation of that is, owning your personal space, owning your being, I have these T-shirts that I sell that say, I'm divine, I'm soft.
Wait. I actually have a picture of this T-shirt. I love this T-shirt.
And that, I made that really just for me because it does remind me. And if you own your own personal space, that's really where it begins. And of course, it's always nice, as a human to have a place, a little patch of earth that you can call your own, a little a retreat that you can call your own. Personally, I have done a lot of downsizing to where, I've reduced my footprint on the world and reduced my monthly bills to try to be able to do more of what I want to do and fulfill my great basic purpose. But I think the bottom line is to remember that you are sovereign, you are divine, you are free, and it's all right for you to stake out a little space for yourself in this world too, because we are part of this world, we are part of this earth, and we know we don't really own it. We're here as stewards of it, but there's nothing wrong with having a little piece of it to be a steward of yourself. And of course, the most important thing is you are divine, you are sovereign, you are free.
Now, and can you be divine, sovereign, and free and still be in a religion?
That's a tough question, Katreese. And here's where I get in trouble because I don't really know how to be subtle.
Your website speaks for itself, and your YouTube channel, if anybody has watched your shows, and I've watched my share of them, so I know you are pretty.
Well, Katreese, we don't have a lot of time for silliness anymore. We don't have a lot of time for foolishness. It's time to really get to the truth and grow up and be big boys and big girls. And after being in this now for 36 years, I've come to believe that religion and spirituality are pretty much mutually exclusive. And I think it's because of this reason. Religion is about indoctrination. Here's what you got to do. Here's what you got to be. Most of it's based on the fact that you've got original sin within you. You got to have salvation, and they've got the only Savior. Whereas spirituality is more a way of enlightenment. It says you don't have original sin, but you've got the spark of divinity within, and you grow and develop this divinity. And the thing that is so profound to me is, if I think I've got original sin, Katreese, I'm looking at Katreese Barnes and everybody else with a little bit of suspicion because I know they got original sin too, and I can't.
Oh, you should look at me suspiciously for sure. No, yeah, you should.
But now that I know I've got the spark of divinity within, I know Katreese has the spark of divinity within. So instead of trying to keep you at arm's length, I now look for ways to bring you in. And it's like the great American philosophers Bill and Ted said, we just be excellent to each other. And if you think about it, the Christ said there's one way that you can know that people will know that we follow the Christ. And it's because we're excellent to each other. He said, because you have love for one another. But I think that's the big difference. Religion is about dividing people. And, divide and conquer is an old game, Katreese. Whereas I think spirituality tends to go the other way and have people take care of their own backyard and then become more understanding of the human condition and be more welcoming to others.
Okay. Well, I like that.
So do I.
There are two words right now that are driving me nuts, and they are truther and woke. I can't stand those words right now because so many people are claiming the truth and so many people are saying they're woke, and I'm realizing it's only who you agree with. You're saying, oh, they're woke. They're a truther. And that's driving me nuts. But these people have had a long time to reel an audience or a following. So, I don't even know if the audience who's listening knows what I'm talking about, but there's like this other world on YouTube of
it really is.
And I have to say, I spent at least 2 years watching a lot of those videos, and now I'm left with, I don't know what to believe. I do not know what to believe anymore.
Katreese, you probably have more experience in that truth realm than I do, to be frank with you.
I think I do, because I think I've mentioned people and you're like, oh, really? Oh, ha, ha. Like, okay. Oh, yeah. No, I actually traveled in some of the circles, went to seminars, actually belonged to several websites because I was fascinated. And then there would always be a point where I get in and go like, this is a little bit strange, or this doesn't resonate. And now there are even people who are saying that the end of the world or the rapture is coming on September 23rd.
Don't get me started, Katreese Barnes. Don't get me started.
I'm just saying those people have had time to groom people into that belief system, and, you know, a lot of people are following it.
Oh. And Katreese, it's like we just said, divide and conquer is an old game, but divide and conquer is still a very new game. And if you're the ones that are in the truth and you're the ones that are really awoke more than anybody else, again, that's just another way to divide and conquer when you really step back and look at it objectively. And it's one thing to be awoke, but when you wake up in the morning, Katreese, you don't stay in your bed all day, right? You actually get up and you go out and you interact with other people. So it's I had a very famous evangelist say to me one time, I won't call his name, I don't want to diminish the import of the statement. He said there's two ways to have the best church in town, or the biggest church, or the most successful ministry, or the best YouTube channel. One way is you can tear everybody else's down so yours is the only one left standing. The other way is to build yours up through quality and through inspiration and through being just plain good. So unfortunately, many quote-unquote truthers will take the realm of trying to cut everybody else down. And this whole thing about September 23, Revelation 12, again, it's the difference between religion and relationship. Religion works best, Katreese, when people are scared, worried, and need protection. So one of the best ways to get people scared is to tell them the end of the world's coming. One of the best ways to get people running back to church is saying that you got to believe this certain way if you're going to make it in a rapture or go to heaven and avoid hell. And I'm convinced that this September 23 thing, coming on the heels of the eclipse, which I think was a very profound spiritual event, is designed to keep people in fear, to keep people in guilt, and to keep people in a system of control. Whereas when you're in fear, you can't be in faith. So if religion can keep you fearful and worried, they have a much less worries about you finding yourself into faith and self-realization, and they can keep you indoctrinated and not worry so much about you getting enlightened, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I've seen people who were not religious still talk about September 23rd as a potential date for something disastrous.
Chicken Little wasn't religious, but he still ran around saying the sky's falling.
Yeah, and that is part of that truther world, that I've been looking at, like, okay, where are you guys going with all this now?
Absolutely. I mean, look at people like, Alex Jones and some of these other people. Everything that you read, and, we talked about this term earlier, clickbait. You're trying to say the most outrageous thing you can get to get somebody's attention. And the things that get people's attention very easily are, bad news, fear, worry, sensationalistic things, disasters. I mean, look at what Hollywood makes movies about. And, shame on us if we're trying to be and professing ourselves to be spiritual people, and we can't do any better than Hollywood can do, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I mean, some of those channels were even saying things like Sandy Hook were staged and had actors, and it's pretty sad.
That sounds real good until, like you said, you meet someone who lost a family member there. Then all of a sudden, it's not such a great way to get viewers to your channel anymore.
Oh, I've had weird arguments with people. I remember having an argument with a guy who was a producer for one of these alternative channels who, when I said, no, I know people who had children who died in Sandy Hook, he was like, well, all those parents were paid. He just could not let go of this theory or this belief. And I said, so sometimes I see the conspiracy or truth or woke world holding on to theories so much that it's like the new religion, or it's like the new belief system, almost like this theory. I'm not going to bring it up, but it has to do with Earth.
Absolutely. And again, what is that? It's divide and conquer. It's, everybody, there's this thing that religion, it seems like everybody wants to think they've got the only truth. They've got, the most important thing. They're the real special ones. And this guy named the Christ came, a couple thousand years ago, and he said, hey, listen, we're all brothers. We're all sisters. We're all in this together. And why don't we try, we've tried for thousands and thousands of years, fighting over each other. I don't know if you've ever seen that thing on YouTube, but this land is mine. And, you just got a series of these people whose God is telling them to go kill these other people. And it's just, my God's bigger than your God. My dad can beat up your dad. And it's this madness that we've done for thousands and thousands of years. I mean, when are we going to wake up one day and realize, you know what? There's so many more things as people, red, yellow, black, white, rich, poor, indifferent. There's so much more really that binds us together that we have in common than we have in difference. And I really believe that religion, after 36 years of experience in it, I think that religion is created to divide and conquer. It's created to keep us apart from each other. Because, they say don't talk about politics or religion. I think they don't want us talking about it, Katreese, because if we begin to talk about it, we begin to understand each other and we begin to realize, you know what? These politics and religion, they're kind of working together to keep me afraid of you and you afraid of me, instead of us getting together and realizing, you know what? It ain't you or me. It's some of these other people pulling our strings. So let's be divine. Let's be sovereign. Let's be free. And let's try being excellent to each other. Let's try that for a few thousand years and see how it works. And I got to say, Katreese, I don't think it could be any worse than where we've got ourselves today.
Oh, it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. And, thank goodness for people like you that are making, music and creating beautiful things in this world that can help us. When people hear your music, or people hear beautiful music, or they see a beautiful piece of art, or they, watch a beautiful dramatic production, all of that difference and all of that foolishness, I get goosebumps, kind of falls away, and we begin to realize our essential unity and our essential divinity, really, that we share. And thanks to you, Katreese Barnes, and people like you that do make the beautiful music and remind us of who we are and what we are and call us to our higher selves. So thank you very much.
Oh, well, that's all I know. So that's all I've ever done. I've only had 2 months of a day job.
What was it?
Oh, my brother and I decorated Christmas trees. And yeah, we would literally go from like Macy's to Macy's or different department stores and decorate. That's still not a real job.
When you were working a day job, so good for y'all.
And I think I might have been a receptionist like 2 or 3 times.
Until somebody asks you to do something you didn't want to do, you're like, wait a minute.
Well, I just learned as a musician how to budget my money when I got it, like budget it. So you never have to do that again. So I know how to make money stretch.
That's different than comedy. I had my share in stand-up comedy. And you know what you call a stand-up comedian without a boyfriend or girlfriend, right?
No, I don't.
Homeless.
Ooh.
So you've learned something that a lot of comedians haven't learned. So good for you.
Ooh, that's yeah. Well, I do actually know a lot of comedians too, but most of them are working comedians.
Good for them. Those are the best kind.
Yeah, well, I used to be on Saturday Night Live, so I would
absolutely.
I would know a lot of comedians.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to go back to your website because I just purchased these things here. And
we're talking about divining rods.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for mine because, okay, I don't know if everybody can see that. Let me click on it. I just purchased mine, and I can't wait for them to get here because, I'm sure other people will use them for different reasons. I know what I'm going to use mine for, mostly for, like, food allergies and to see if
excellent. They're great for that.
And to see if I should do certain supplements or if I should stop certain supplements because we need to, a lot of times people just take supplements and they don't think about that they could be allergic to them or it might be time to take a break.
Absolutely.
From certain ones. So that's how I'm going to use it. in addition to just testing everybody I know.
And they're really used to be confirmation. They're not used for you to make your life decisions based on them, but to give you some confirmation about what you're already feeling and what your intentions are already leading you to. And they can be a lot of fun as well. So I'll get those right out to you, Katreese.
I have actually a little video of you on YouTube using them on your show. If you don't mind, I'm going to play it right
now. Is Jeff wearing a red shirt?
People can actually see your...
He's not wearing a red shirt. Is Jeff wearing...
It is great fun.
Yes, he is wearing a blue shirt, but they're not going to be running all...
Now, just for the record, those aren't ones that I made. I just got the ones I made going just over the last couple of days. So those are purchased ones.
I don't actually know. I don't think people saw that, actually. Let me...
Oh, okay. Well...
but
still...
to
wrap it up.
Okay. We'll wrap it up. I just wanted to show that little video of you, your divining rods. Okay. We're going to be wrapping this up now. I want to... Okay, I'm doing my own. Okay, we're back. So I want to thank you for coming on my little show. I'm sure
it was my pleasure. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm sure a lot of people got some stuff to consider. And I'll be here every Thursday at 9 o'clock. And this was fun. Thanks, Jeff.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Bye.
Through the night made me feel so right, and there's always